Good day. Welcome back to the LyfCraft server. Thank you indeed for watching this video, and as you can see behind me, I've decided to put some lights in. However, I run into a bit of a problem, which is basically that I've got very little room here to fit everything in, and that is primarily see, we've got stuff coming up because of these. They are somewhat in the way. You can see about that. So I had to sort of loop over and stuff, and it's getting tricky. So I am going to remove the scoring system from here and probably move it out under here, which will mean an extended comparator chain of stuff, and possibly dump it down a bit further, a bit lower, so that I don't have to, you know, squeeze things over the top. So that's going to be a fairly big change, and I'll probably not talk you through it. But on the other hand, let's talk through what does work and what was built using it, as we can go down here. And I need to find my notes about what I built, so I will be right back. Yeah, that didn't take too long. It was basically 2 pages back in my notebook. No, well, yes, there we go, things. So, if we remember, this is the input line from the switch on the wool block upstairs, and starts the whole game going. So it will power up down here, and it will power this, which is, did they call it a switch or a T flip-flop or something like that? It's 3 droppers and a hopper. Basically, you power this, and it sends the water bottle into here, and immediately drops it down into there. So we can take a signal out of it, which will switch off that light, pull that back, and start this, which is, of course, I believe, a etho hopper clock, as they're known. There are 16 items, which gives about an 8-second loop in total, and at one point it will have this pulled over here, which will send a signal through. And now this is a randomiser. It produces between 0 and 15, I believe. And I believe it was built by someone called Entity. I'll link to the, I think it's a forum post on the old Minecraft forums. Now how it works is particularly interesting. In here are a non-stackable and a stackable item, same for the other 3. And when the signal comes in, bloop, randomness occurs, and they go straight into the item hopper. One of them anyway does. So there is either a non-stackable or stackable item in here, which will be read and produce a signal. Now if it's a stackable item, the signal will be higher. This will go all the way over to this side, where there are pistons and blocks. So if it's a non-stackable item, the piston goes down, and the signal from these hoppers, which is read by these comparators, no longer goes through. So in here we have 2.5 stacks. Here we have 1.25 stacks. Here we have half a stack. And here we have 1 item. And if we can sneak in, maybe we can do a bit of a Zach loop. There we go. So these comparators, which are reading a full power from there, are in subtract mode, and they will subtract whatever values come through from here, which is why it makes a random with 16 different signals. Then that comes out into here. Now this is a signal memory, which I found in a video by Crafty Masterman, I think, if I can read my own writing, which is not always the case. So this stores the signal. So if a 16 comes out, or whatever it is at the moment, I believe it's, oh, that signal's gone. Oh, that's so it's 11 at the moment, storing. And then it will, will store the signal, basically, which is then read out and sent that way. But we'll get to that in a second, because there's also this line, which comes over the top. Now this is a similar line. It comes out the same power for when that triggers. And what this does is it resets this. Otherwise, it will only accept a higher level of power. So if you had 11, as we do, then that randomizer produced 10 or 5 or whatever, nothing would happen. This would not change. So we have to reset it before the signal comes through in order that the new signal will replace it. This goes into, I believe this is called a red coder. This is Mumbo's design, but I did see it in the same video with Crafty Masterman. The way it works, ignore that for the moment. You get the signal coming in, it goes up here, and the signal is, one of these is one shorter than the other one. So what that basically means is all of these are off, and the signal dies here. But the signal dies as well, and these are not on, something like that. It's all sort of like that. Yeah, those are off underneath because the signal gets that far, but it doesn't get to that one. So that's why that one's on. So we can have 16 different signals out of this, including 0, unfortunately, which is a small problem, but we'll cover that. This is here to make sure this one always works, otherwise it will not produce. Now here's the trickier bit where I kind of goofed, because I built all the parts separately in our world, but I was not. I hate rebuilding things, so I did not build this in entirety first. I just sort of threw it all together afterwards when I was here. So these take the signals out, and we need to separate these out to make sure we get all 16 different signals to the various targets. So I think maybe we can follow the green one. I've tried to keep them all different types of wool so that things, yeah, the green one ended up coming from the 3rd, I think. I go up here, yes. No, I can't go up there. Anyway, green comes out and it goes to this one, and these drop down a observer, which will trigger that, which will put in a long enough pulse that this comparator timer will power things long enough to reveal and then hide the target again. So they all come out of here up to the last one. And there were probably, there's a better way of sorting those out, but yeah, that's on me, that one. Then there's a separate circuit up at the top. Let's see if we can, I don't know if we can get up there. Any signal that comes out, there's an observer there that will pass the signal out, and also a signal out at the top. So as long as we get both, these go into an AND gate here, as long as we get both of those lit, which cuts out any transitory signals that sometimes happen because of the way the randomizer sends out a signal, it will send a signal that comes all the way over here, down here into this. And this is, I guess, my basic counter, which is currently half full because I've been messing around with things, as you can see from having the button here. So how this would normally work, let's put these all back in. So when it gets a signal, which is when it gets anything above 1, or 1 or above from there, gets a signal, it will pump a water bottle into here, which will drop it down into here, and we'll have a signal coming out. When this is full, we get a full signal coming out, which will be larger than this, which has 1 less in it. That will send a signal out to here, which will, because this has a bottle in it when it's running, it will send the bottle into here. And because of the way droppers work, pump it back up into that one, resetting the whole system to start again. And it will also send out a signal here through this timer back into this block, which will push this over, and that will send enough pulses to send all the bottles back into here, resetting the system itself. Now the thing I've been working on is to take a signal out of here so I can power the lights during each sequence, so that we have 9 of them. As you can see, it's been tricky. I've had to go around loops and go up and down, and then that goes over the top, and that's why I'm having trouble with the latter ones. Coming out, that one works, but it goes over the top of there, and this one's... so I need to have to pull more signals out of these and reroute them around to the other lights. So I'm going to make it easier for myself now by removing the scoring system and moving that somewhere else, and possibly the at least lowering maybe an earlier section or a bit of this section, so we can get the scores going out this way to here. Oh, it's night. And not interfere with the lights. Small interlude. I have just popped over here to buy some shulker boxes. Discover that Zach has lowered his price to 1 diamond each, beating out Iceland by a fair bit. So I'm going to make a large purchase here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. And thank you very much. This is actually a thing I was pondering doing, but not quite in the little gaps behind these. But I wondered if that would happen. Anyway, the reason for the shulker boxes was basically that if I take all of these out, there is a lot of gold, and I won't be able to carry it. So I'm going to box it up and put it in a shulker, so I can, or maybe 2, so that I can keep track of it. Box it up? No, I'm going to turn it into at least ingots, probably even blocks, and then we'll be able to store things, hopefully. So this should bulk up nicely, and I'll come back in a bit. So if you're ever interested in how many gold bars you would need to fill up 15 droppers and 15 hoppers, that is it. Okay, the rebuild has been completed. I have... where am I looking? Wrong way. I've moved the testing system around the corner a bit, so instead of going that way and around the back, it now goes this way. That actually hasn't moved, but I've changed... Sorry about the jerking too much. So this now comes out of the side, goes this way. This is the timer, and then this is actually... So it's less wiring, to be honest, and a little more compact. This has allowed me to put the testing for the length over here in a loop that goes around, and then these can more easily go up. I'm not recording with the replay mode at the moment. Maybe I'll turn it on and we can I can do a little zoom up through where things are from here. So these now go up to the appropriate lights, which I have moved ever so slightly, as well as having to take out the stairs. So, oh, it's night time. We'll be fine. So yeah, the lights are now a little further forward and 2 apart, so they should light up. Also, the button from there now comes down through a observer note block chain, so it goes basically straight down and a little dog leg out to one side to trigger the whole system. And we've also moved the scoring system off to one side, which is now over here, and it feeds into a dropper chain to take it up to a chest up there, which can then be recycled back through the system as before. So let's give it a test, shall we? But let's sleep first. Right. There we go then. So we'll hit the button and prepare ourselves for the first ding. There we go. Think caught the edge maybe. See the lights now on. Tense. I missed this one by miles. Get to Auzathoth. No, no. Okay. One. Yeah. Can't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're in the corner there. Yay. No. Let me see. Let's draw over to the right. That's one. Must have got a 0. There we go. I think that was a good one. So let's go and see what our score is. Actually, I need to have this switched on to prevent that from stopping. So we won't know ever what our score was in that case. So I'll have another round and then see what we get. Positions. .42. I think that's actually my best. Now, after we've got the score, we have to clear it. So this light will keep on as these things keep draining out, and we'll go out when they're done. I don't know if I can make this a more automatic system, but you have to come over here and look at your scores, so this is probably the best way of doing it. It's gone. Let me switch that back. Perhaps that could be automatic. I don't know, a button on something, but that's something for more refinement. But now the basic game works. I think I could do with making this a little less flat and grey. Maybe do that on a stream or something. And I do want to cover up the back of this because it's a bit ugly. So let's move on to our next task, if indeed we are. And that task is to end the episode, which we're going to do here in our souvenir room, because I have missed doing these for a couple of episodes. So here's one from the episode 17, the first step, which is a book, because we were refilling the shop with books. Here from Your Fire, the last episode, when we first started making the shooting game, is of course an arrow. And to celebrate all of the redstone I've put in place for this episode, that's going to be an observer for the shooting game episode, which I'm calling shooting game, I guess. Unless I change my mind in between now and sending the episode out. Now, final notes then. I should also add we have a new kitty in the place, and it is a jelly, which I have actually never managed to tame before since they were added, so I'm very happy about that. He or she is sitting down here, and because that's where I found them, and that's where I tamed them, which is very easy because they were trapped in there, rather than the other kitties, which are all outside there. Keeping creepers away, if there were any. I should check my iron farm at some point. Anyway, yeah. So, as the sun sets on us here on this episode, number 19, on the LyfCraft server, I'd like to say thank you again for watching, if indeed you still are. And if you would like to check out the other LyfCrafters, their links are down below, so you can go and see them. Some of them are more twitchy than others, and some of them flip between the two, and some of them are just doing videos. But I think they're all excellent people, and they all deserve your time and attention. So I will see you again in the next episode. Bye for now.